Welcome to today's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Zachary Larson. Today we have a special report on how the conflict in Russia and Ukraine has impacted athletes in the Valley. We have full team covered from myself and Cronkite News reporters Connor McGill and Ryan Blank. We start with GCU men's basketball player Dima Zador, who came to the United States from Ukraine on his own to play basketball. It was a tough end to the season for Zador, who is thinking about his family back in Ukraine, including his uncle and father, who are on the front lines.
About half of my family right now fighting for their town right now on the front lines, and it's a little tougher in the past 2-3 days because Russian soldiers, they blew up their power plants, so people are struggling to charge their cell phones.
His basketball family is supporting Zador during this time, but the sophomore forward is worried for his family, whom he talks to about once every 24 hours. Although he's not helping physically, he's doing everything he can to spread awareness of what's happening in his home country.
I understand there is not much I can do physically from here, but I'm just trying to do as much as I can on social media and spread true information that comes from my family and tens of other families around the country.
More than anything, the support Zador has received has meant everything to him, as he continues to do his part by having his voice heard on social media. My thanks to Zador for sharing his story with me. Next, we take a look at a Russian athlete who's been impacted by the conflict. Cronkite News reporter Connor McGill spoke to a player on the women's basketball team at Benedictine University in Mesa whose family's in Moscow. It's been a difficult time for her as she has no idea when she can go back home.
Kate Levinka, a native of Moscow, Russia, picked up a basketball for the first time at the age of 12 and came to the United States at 16. Now she's currently a junior at Benedictine University in Mesa, where she's playing the sport she loves. Challenged by distance, an ACL injury, and now conflict back at home, Levinka has a lot on her mind.
Not knowing what is happening next, not knowing when I'm gonna see them, not knowing how they are there. It's just every day my thoughts are there. It is hard to focus on other things, because I'm here, my life is safe, in a good place, everything is good. I'm in Arizona, it's sunny, I'm having an interview right now and they are there and it's completely different atmosphere for them there.
Levinka did have plans to go back home for spring break in Moscow, Russia to see her family, but all of that has come to a halt due to sanctions on airspace. For now, the closest thing she has to her family is FaceTime calls.
It's not going to happen. I don't really know when it's going to happen, when's the next time I'm going to see my family, which makes me absolutely heartbroken and sick. But it's going to be fine.
With the basketball season now over, Glokavina will look to recover from her ACL injury and await news from home. In Phoenix, Connor McGill, Cronkite News.
And finally, Phoenix Mercury center Brittany Griner is the most high-profile athlete caught up in the Russian-Ukraine conflict. The WNBA star has been detained in Russia since mid-February on drug charges. Cronkite News reporter Ryan Blank takes a look at Griner's difficult situation.
On February 17th, Brittany Griner was stopped at a Moscow airport. Customs officials alleging the star's center was carrying cannabis oil in her luggage. She's been detained on drug smuggling charges with very little information known. The WNBA community, including former Mercury assistant coach Chastity Melvin, are rallying around the two-time Olympian.
Brittany is one of the kindest-hearted human beings that I've ever met. She was a very caring person, a very good human being to be around. Just went with the flow. Just couldn't ask for a better athlete with that type of platform and that type of star status.
The star status that Griner carries has people questioning if her detention is politically motivated, since diplomacy between Russia and the United States is strained due to the Ukraine conflict.
Doesn't make things easier because communication is difficult. Our embassy is understaffed at the moment. Strictly from a legal point of view, it shouldn't complicate life, but that doesn't mean it won't.
Griner's predicament highlights the challenges WNBA players face when playing overseas. Chastity Melvin, who played in 8 different countries, says athletes don't always understand the cultural differences and political climates when playing abroad.
For the most part, you do live in a bubble when you go over there. It's basically you're with your team, you go to your apartment, and you're playing the game of basketball. And then if you don't speak the language, you could be missing out on a lot.
Every athlete has to be aware of their personal safety. They have to be aware of the laws of the land that they're going to go into. They have to be aware of whether or not culturally they're going to fit in.
Griner was playing for the Russian team UMMC Ekaterinburg, a popular destination for WNBA athletes, including Diana Taurasi, because the money is too good.
Everybody wants to play in ECAT. Up until this war, ECAT is 3-4 times everybody else in the world. I'm talking about a place where all of the top players ended up playing.
While countless athletes have shown their support for Griner on social media, some people have been critical of the 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Some of these opinions are just atrocious. She's somebody's daughter. She's somebody's partner. She's somebody's sister. She's somebody's auntie. She is one of the kindest human beings with a huge heart.
Nearly half of the WNBA's 144 players were playing overseas this offseason, including more than a dozen in Russia and Ukraine. All of them made it out, except Griner, who faces up to 10 years in prison. In Phoenix, Ryan Blank, Cronkite News.
That does it for this special edition of the Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Mia and Molly.